Please give a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Scott Goyette.
I decided I was going to go to graduate school in Mexico to study international business, and this was in '93. I forget how old I am. This was in '93. And so I went down there, and I had my textbook Spanish to a science. I could say anything as long as it was on a test. So I get my apartment, I show up, I walk into a store to buy my groceries. And so I think I'm a good communicator. I'm somebody everybody said is social, whatever. So I walk in and I'm like, tienes pan, tienes cerveza, you know, the most important things. Get some bread and beer. And then the next question I asked was an interesting one because it brought up a very interesting response. I looked at the guy straight in the eye and I said, tienes huevos. And we obviously have some Spanish speakers in here. Well, when I learned Spanish in high school, I was just translating the way Mr. Hennigan had told me. So I got a very interesting look. And that look, you guys can explain it to your friends. So that look quickly translated to, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So they explained it to me, and so then my new nickname was Huevos. So one of the things that's very, very difficult in this world is the overlap time between personal and professional life. Commute. Commute can be such a nightmare where you get all frustrated and it took too long, there was traffic, and then you either come home or come into your work environment and you're just not right. There should be like a rule for 30 minutes, nobody can talk to you in either environment. Can we create that? Can we start that today? You can't talk to me, I just got here, give me 30. Sounds fair. I was in corporate America, and like you, there were days when I came home and I did not feel happy. Somebody screwed me out of a sale, somebody was dishonest, somebody did something that wasn't fair, and I know I'm right. In my mind, I know that they shouldn't be doing this. Do you guys have those days? Somebody yelling at you and then you're mad and you accidentally yell at somebody else and it just keeps flowing. And no one wants that. No one's to blame there in the sense that no one wants that, but you got to find out what you're contributing, what your contribution is to that. So what I did was I would come home, and that decompression period I talked about where I should have my free half hour where no one talks to me, I spent that the wrong way. I would come home and I would say, babe, and that's my wife and my child, and I would say, Kim, I just want to kill this guy. I want to rip his throat out. I want to punch him in the face. I want to just, is that okay? And she's like, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. She's like, things happen. You know, now you're home. You know, we'll find another sale. We'll make more money. And so I did this for a few weeks. I'd lose it. And she consistently would say the same thing. It's not a big deal. And I felt like it was a big deal, and I wanted her to join me in that frustration. And so I said, can you just understand what I'm saying one time? And I walked out the door that morning very frustrated and upset. And I felt bad, but when I came back in, I was mad again. So that afternoon, I walked in the door, and I did it one final time. This time, a lot more expletives. I came in, I'm like, you have no idea what I'm gonna do to this guy. She grabs me by the shirt, starts pulling me out the door and goes, give me your keys. And I'm like, what? She goes, we're gonna beat the living poop out of that guy. And I freeze, and I'm like, babe, it's no big deal. And tell me that even hearing that, you can feel the comfort in that. It's amazing because just one person validating that they understand you can be everything. I was playing basketball in high school, and in high school in 1989, what they did not have was they didn't have video. We didn't take video of our practices or our games. What we did do was we had the coach come tell us what we did right and wrong. So throughout high school, I'd be told, do this, fix this, fix this. So I thought I knew exactly who I was as a basketball player. And I thought I was pretty good, and good enough to get a college scholarship. So I get into college. My first game, played decent. You know, I was pretty proud of myself again. So I go upstairs the next day to the film room. We have film now, but they don't film on the court. They have film from up high, so you're looking down at everybody. So I'm sitting there, and I'm watching one of the plays where one of my friends is coming off this pick, and I never realized how slow a human being could be. And he's coming off the pick like this, and he gets the ball, and he like does this thing. And so I break down laughing. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, you are the slowest human being on the face of the earth. And the coach goes, he really doesn't know, does he? He's like, that's you. And then I'm like, that's number 20. I'm 22. He goes, I'm like, oh, that is me. You already have an amazing energy here. I mean, you can feel it. You really can feel it. Trust me, there's places where I go where I'm like, are these people all gonna like go out and be the Unabomber as soon as we leave? You don't have that here. You have a good energy. But I can tell you this, don't be stagnant, don't be complacent. Go one step better. Make it even bigger. Be the one. Be more than the one. Be the one and connect to the next one and the next one and just make this the most beautiful place you could possibly work. Make next year 500 people working there. Make it so they can't even fit you in here. We'll go out in the hallway and we'll drink beers. Did I say that before? It's actually, if you're from Boston, it's drink a lot of beers and we're gonna have a really good party. One of the stories I always found funny was my mom would always say, hey Scott, do the dishes. And I'd be like, why? She'd go, because I told you. I'm like, okay. And you get really scared. My grandfather would always do this. Yeah, I'm thinking about painting the shed. It's a really tough job because, you know, like painting the shed, that's something, you know, adults do. You know, it's a big deal. You got to do it right. You got to have a perfect stroke. I'm like, tell me more. Tell me more. And so he'd be like, I don't know, because, you know, you might overlap the paint. Not, never mind. I'd be like, but well, tell me, like, should I paint the shed? And he's like, all right, let me show you how to do it. And I'm out there painting the shed, and my mom's like, how did you get him to do that? He's always complaining. Because he took an interest in me, and he told me why we were doing it. He said, well, we need the shed painted because it's going to end up rotting. And so he tells me the whole story. It takes him 5 minutes, and I'm out there painting sheds. But we don't always use the right words to inspire and encourage. If you're not going like this and your energy is always at a good, constant level, you got to figure out a way to get there. One of the things we tend to do is we have this high. We go home like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm here. At work it was so horrible. And you're all crazy because you're like, I'm finally home. Or you're in this relationship you don't want to be in, and you're like, thank God I'm at work. Oh my God, you have no idea what home was like. You've got to find a way that that energy carries over. I can tell you for a fact, when I sit and I'm teaching, I'm in front of a group of 30 students, I'm like, this is so cool. Because I know what the teachers didn't share with me that I wanted, and I'm going to give you all of that.